Welcome to another episode of Titan PI TV. We're looking at the inside workings of a live operation investigation agency, that being here, Titan in Derby. I'm your host and Managing Director of Titan Private Investigation Limited, Simon Henson. Don't forget, we also have this on a podcast, and you can find it wherever you download your podcasts. It's Titan PI TV Podcast. So last episode was department stores. We spoke about tactics of covering it covertly. I thought I'd do one on lifts and escalators because they are a massive hazard to us. So we're now in a shopping centre. There are massive hazards in here, department stores being one which we've covered. So when do we commit to an escalator? Our subject gets onto an escalator. When do we commit to get on it? Do we allow our subject to get to the top and then we commit? Or do we go close behind the subject because it's busy and they'd be slightly higher than us because it's stairs? Or do we get on when they're halfway up? There's no right or wrong answer. It's what feels right. And if it feels right, then that's natural. If you feel uncomfortable, that's unnatural. So we've got an escalator just here. When do we commit to it? Lifts. So how do we deal with lifts? Lifts in department stores, or lifts in car parks, or lifts just in general. So if it's a department store and we've got someone on each floor, then we have to try and paint the picture, describe which lift our subject gets into. It's the centre one of 3, or it's the near side one of 2. And that gives them a heads up when they're receiving it on the next floor, or whichever floor it stops. Has it got a little icon above it, an LCD display, which tells you what floor it stops at? If the subject's in there alone, then that's a good indication they've got off on floor 2 if it says floor 2 where it stops. Do you enter or do you not? If the subject's on their own, do you enter? It's what feels natural. But that's your choices you've got to make. Do I enter with the subject because there's enough people in there that he won't notice me? Or do I not enter and I keep control of the lift where he gets in and try and orchestrate my team upstairs or up escalators to get ahead? So there's a lot to think about with hazards such as escalators and lifts. Okay, so we're going to enter a department store, Marks and Spencer's. We're going to have a quick look at a lift and see how we can deal with it. So as we approach the department store, we'd tell all the team to close up and enter. To the team, in the department store, all enter. At this point, the eyeball, which is me, would stay on the floor with the subject, and the other operatives would be getting onto different floors. It's the subject walking through Marks and Spencer's on the ground floor. And that's the subject generally towards the lifts. Let's have a look at the lifts. So at this point you need to be saying which lift the subject's going to be stood at. We need to be saying when they enter. And as you can see, you've got the icons there of the lift going up and down on the LCD display. That's the subject in and into the lift. It is the centre lift of 3. That just helps the person on the other floors receiving them which lift to concentrate on. That's the doors closing, and then we look at the display. The team's information, the lift has stopped on floor 2. Then the next operative will be saying, yes, I have the eyeball, that's the subject, floor 2. And I would just then stay on this floor. So that's dealing with the lifts. Let's look at an escalator. Okay, so we've got an escalator over here. That's the subject, up the escalator. And I'm going to let the subject go all the way up. And that's the subject off the escalator on level 2. I would then stay on my floor, and I would soon hear the operative on floor 2 saying, I have the eyeball. That's the subject, floor 2. I would remain on floor 1. And that's how we deal with them, handing them over to one another, so we're not being dragged up lifts. We're not being dragged up escalators. And always remember, where's a lift or an escalator, there has to, by law, be stairs. So always be aware of stairs. If you're on that floor where the subject's not, awaiting for the subject to come to you, look for the stairs. It might be the way of you getting onto another floor quicker than the subject. Well, that's another episode of Titan PI TV. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please give us a thumbs up. If you don't want to miss further episodes, subscribe. Don't forget, we've got a podcast, Titan PI TV podcast, and that is downloadable wherever you download your other podcasts. So you can listen to us in the car rather than having to take time to watch us on YouTube. Thanks again. Till next time.